Welcome everyone to February 2022 Spiritual Questions Answered. My name is Kat, if you don't know me, and tonight's topic is energy cleansing for places. Alright, I shall not bother with so much introduction. Right, I'm the co-founder of CordyKet, and we are involved with subtle energies. We've been teaching and also providing services related to subtle energies and spirituality since 2010. All right. Okay, so basically the topic is about energy cleansing for places. So it's energy cleansing and places. Now, so what are the scenarios that a place would require energy cleansing? All right, that's the first thing which we are going to touch. What are the kind of places which would need energy cleansing? Okay, and what are the things that can be cleansed, right, using energy? All right, so you're using energy to cleanse energy, or you want to cleanse the energy of a place. So what constitutes energy in a place? Right, so when we talk about energy, I think some people who are energy sensitive will know this, but not everyone. Something which is we take for granted is, first of all, emotions. All right, emotions are a form of energy. Okay, have any one of you realized that after you get angry or you get upset, you cry a lot and you emote, right? You emote, give out emotion, a lot of emotion, and after that, you feel very tired and you have a very good sleep. Yes, and that's because the emotions use up a lot of energy, and all this energy, all right, it will go to the place where you are. All right, the energies will be absorbed by the environment, by the air, by the furniture, the wall, the ceiling, the floor, and if you do have crystals, especially the crystals, right? Crystals are very energy sensitive kind of objects. So this is something that we might have to take a look at, right, when it comes to energy cleansing, because most people don't realize this. Now, if you are energy sensitive, you might kind of have an idea. What do I mean by that? Maybe if you're energy sensitive, you go to a place or go to someone's home, and if the people at home tend to argue a lot, all right, you might feel easily upset or easily angry in such a place. All right, you might feel you don't know why you're irritable at someone's place, and that is usually because the people of that house or that office, right? For example, if you're at an office whereby the culture involves the boss scolding people, right, and you enter the manager's room, or the boss room, and you just feel very uncomfortable. That could be due to all these emotions, the energy of such negative emotions that are present. All right, and just to be clear, right, if we're going to talk about energy cleansing, of course, the first thing we want to cleanse is negative energies, right? Right, so we will be thinking about cleansing negative energies. And so one thing that we need to bear in mind is negative emotions. What are the kinds examples I can give? Like if you, I don't know about you guys, but if you have been to places whereby like historical places, all right, historical places, and maybe some things, very bad things were done at a certain place, like Cordelia and I visited Cambodia, Phnom Penh, and in Phnom Penh there is this prison whereby they tortured, right? There was a, in Cambodia there was something terrible happened. In Cambodia there was a genocide, right? And there's a famous prison called Tuol Sleng. I hope I pronounced it correctly. Whereby they brought a lot of prisoners there and they tortured them. And it's kind of like a concentration camp. It's kind of similar to Nazi, right? The Jews concentration camp, or if anyone of you have been to a Jews concentration camp, I've never been to Europe myself, right? So those places will have a lot of negative energies that are from the emotions. Imagine people who are being tortured, right? Their screams of fear, right? And then the anger of the people, the anger and the darkness of the people who are doing the torturing and everything. All these will be captured in that place, right? And it will cause a lot of negative energies to be in that place. And so, and along it, right, all these energies can form memories of the place, right? Cordelia is, if you guys don't know, right? Cordelia is my wife, is my partner, so she is Cordy, I'm Cat, so together we're known as CordyKet. Okay, so Cordelia is very sensitive and she can actually pick up the memories when we were there, and Cordelia is very sensitive, so she actually has to um, tune out and not connect. Otherwise, it was very unpleasant for her, right, in this type of places, right? So, of course, for most people, your homes and offices will not be that bad. That is a kind of extreme example, all right? And of course, we have this thing that most people engage us to do planning for, right? Entities, or I would say usually, right? To be clear, evil spirits. Alright, so Cordelia and I have been helping people deal with evil spirits and this kind of stuff since a long time due to our beginnings, right? So some people will feel that they are entities or spirits at the place, and you consider them evil, all right, not benevolent, or you consider them as malevolent, and that is one of the clear-cut case whereby you would want energy cleansing to be done. Yes. Okay, so of course, these entities will manifest in different types of um, experiences for the people who are there. Okay, so we have many clients, and for example, sleep paralysis. What the Western doctors consider as sleep paralysis need not necessarily be sleep paralysis, whereby you're paralyzed, because some people they clearly can feel another presence in the room or something that is really weighted on them. They can sense a presence, see the form, the shape, right? And that this presence does not just prevent you from moving, it can be touching you all over. I had my own experience, right? So it's very clear it's not just sleep paralysis and hallucination, it is real, all right? And when these type of things happen, then you need to do energy cleansing. All right. If any one of you have questions, you can feel free to type in the chat. All right. And then I will address your questions. Okay. So let's see. Evan is asking, do plants have emotion? Oh, so we were talking about emotions earlier. I would think so, right? They don't have emotion the way um, more sentient beings like animals do, but they definitely can feel emotion. So anyone who's a good gardener, right, who have green fingers, they normally like to talk to the plants, and the plants will respond back, right? Or you can think of it, if you're really into energy, it's a response of energy, right? If you're giving them good energy and they respond, but they kind of really can feel it, right? The people who do tests, right? You shout at the plant, you curse it. So either you think of it as emotions or energy, right? So the plants do respond, and they kind of have that. And there are people who can feel the emotions from plants, right? We even have a disciple who's into that. So yes, you can say yes. How long can negative energies be around if not cleansed? Now, that is a very good question, right? So how long can they stay? Right? Duration. Let me write it down. Duration. The duration of the energies that stay will typically depend on where the energies are stored. So it typically is linked a lot to, for example, the material. All right, the material. So let's say if it's just air in the air and the wind blows and blows, then the negative energies that are in the air, right? The air with negative energies will be blown away. So that is problem solved, right? That in the modern world, it's a problem because a lot of offices, especially, and homes of rich people tend to be fully air conditioned, right? So they don't have the wind. Yes, and in feng shui, it's called a 死气 or dead qi or dead energy. So the energies don't get carried away. So the air will have a lot of energies from the past stuck at home and is being recirculated by the air conditioners and yeah, the ventilators and so on. So that's for air. Now, if it's material like crystals, right? Crystals is one of the best material that stores energy, right? So crystals will tend to retain energy forever unless the crystals themselves are cleansed. Okay. Then the next thing is the solids, right? So a glass, for example, is like kind of crystal, glass crystalline. Stones. So here, marble flooring. Marble flooring is a form of a stone. A stone is slightly crystalline, so it also retains energies very well. So like the walls and everything, right? But if then you have metal. Metal does retain, but not as well as stones and all that. And then you have wood. So those are metals and wood are tend to be weaker, the storage, but it still stores. And then you have plastics. Plastics, they're not so good. Okay, so it depends a lot on the material. So of course, sometimes retaining positive energy is good, but retaining negative energies is of course not so good. So that's a very good question. Let me just run through because it's easier this time around to go through some of the questions. Okay, so this is roughly the context which we need to do energy cleansing. We want to remove negative energies, and these are the typical forms of negative energies that are there. And of course, something that's more serious would be stuff like really the energy form, right, which is like black magic. Black magic or spells. So I actually have a lot of clients, and like some people, they move to a place and not necessarily black magic was done on them, but they could have been, let's say I had a client, a big client with multi-million business, and they moved to an office, and the lady boss is very sensitive energies, and she could see things, hear things, feel things, and she knows something is wrong with the place. So she brought me there to have a look, and basically what I discovered was there was black magic that was done to the previous occupant of that building where they were using as an office, right? So they moved in, but the black magic, although didn't target them, but the black magic was done to that place, to the office, right? So, and of course, along with black magic, normally there'll be entities and also negative energies, so such will need to be cleansed. And sometimes there are spells. And there are sometimes, for example, I had a client, a feng shui client, whereby he moved into a house, right? He bought a house, he moved into it, and the previous owner was praying to some kind of entity, right? Some kind of a deity that is not of light, and he had a lot of problem. And even the people who were doing renovations for him, they could sense it, right? So he got me in, and then I helped him remove the negative deity presence and the energies that were left there. So some things can be like that, or I have clients whereby their neighbors or the previous owners, they have spiritual practices that are not of light. That means they do some prayers or chanting, but they somehow invoke negative energies, or they invited negative spirits without knowing. Right? Even some of you who have known us for a long time, you've joined us for retreats, physical retreats, right? And we have ever happened. We had a big place whereby more than with many halls, and there are others who are doing retreat right at the same center. And some people could clearly feel that there were negative energies coming from the next hall, whereby they were also doing some kind of I think something spiritual, right? And we don't know, and there were negative energies coming from there. And so so something has to be done. So these are typically the scenarios where energy cleansing will need to be done. Now, then the next thing I would like to talk about is the normal methods, all right? Normal methods that most people use, right, to do energy cleansing. So the very normal methods someone mentioned earlier, right? For example, salt. Someone was asking me the salt work. All right, so some people will use salt, and a very common one is smudging. If you don't know what smudging is, maybe you know the term incense. So basically, you're using smoke of certain materials, right? So there is, of course, incense for prayers, right? There's frankincense, there's myrrh, and nowadays a lot of people use sage. They use Palo Santo wood, so different kind of wood, and they do give off good energies. And in addition to that, some people nowadays use essential oils. Right, these are common methods. And another common method that people will highly recommend normally is crystals. Yes. So I will just give comment based on my experience and knowledge on these methods. First thing is salt. So salt is normally used. The way they do it is they take some salt, sea salt, whatever salt, and they sprinkle all over the place, right? I have a neighbor who just moved in, and they did the same. Right? They threw salt all over the place right before they moved in. And the salt work, I say yes, it does, but normally the level of effectiveness is not very high, right? So it depends on what you're dealing with. Most people use salt to deal with low-level entities, low-level evil spirits. Can it remove negative emotions, memories, black magic? No. Certain entities, very low-level, maybe very low-level ghosts, because entities, there are all kinds, right? Very low-level ones, yes, you can. Salt can help a little, all right, a little. Then you have other methods like smudging. So smudging, like I went through sage, right, frankincense, myrrh, right, like incense. You have Palo Santo, right, and some people also use essential oils. So essential oils don't have smoke, right? Incense and smudging is smoke. Smudging, that means they take like a bundle, they burn it, and then it gives off smoke, right? Like a sage bundle, for example. Usually all those things smell nice. So all this work roughly the same because they work based on essential oils, right? And these plants have good energies. Again, does it work? Yes, I would say this smudging incense or essential oils, they will work better than salt. All right, they work better than salt, and it can help with some negative energies like emotions, slightly some memories, but don't expect it to do very deep and very thorough kind of cleansing. With entities, it can work with slightly more entities than salt, but any serious forms of like black magic and spells or demonic or something powerful, advanced advanced kind of entities, don't expect this to be effective. And it's quite clear, anyone who have trouble with evil spirits, they try all this and it won't work. All right, if it's something reasonably advanced or slightly more powerful. So the other thing that other people will use is crystals, and certain crystals are highly recommended. For example, black tourmaline, right, selenite. They are very cleansing energies, and some people even claim crystals can cleanse themselves, and which is not true, right? So the crystals can cleanse the place to a certain degree, right? Then you need to cleanse your crystals, right? You want to know how to do some basic cleansing of crystals. I believe I did a talk on crystals, and you can look it up in our YouTube channel, right? So most of the spiritual questions answered, there is a recording, and it will be posted to our YouTube channel, right? So the crystals themselves need to be cleansed, and crystals, depending on which crystal you have and what is the level of your crystal, crystals I would say is the best amongst all these techniques. But crystals, they're kind of like vacuum cleaner, right? So they cleanse by absorbing negative energies, and they become like a vacuum cleaner, and they're full already. After a while, they'll be full, and they will no longer be effective. And you can't keep buying crystals, right? Powerful, effective crystals are hard to come by, right? Some very high quality crystals like black tourmaline, for example. Nowadays, all the black tourmaline in the market, it's very hard to find good ones nowadays, because the really good ones are mined out already. Okay? Those are like from China kind. So crystals can work to a certain degree. So these are the normal methods that most people use. So the main question, I guess, right, is you all will ask, what can you all do? What can I recommend that normal people can do? Okay, so I will go down to that. Let me take a look at some of your questions first. Okay, so Jenny asked, can salt be used as cleansing material in a house? So I explained that. Edwin is asking, is negative energy strongest during 11 p.m. to 1 a.m., 5 a.m. to 7 a.m., 5 p.m. to 7 p.m.? Now, maybe you're referring to like evil spirits. So, for example, they say there's a witching hour near midnight. Yes, for some entities, they tend to gather around like the midnight hour, but this is also due to traditions and also humanity's fears that contribute to it, right? And some of these entities, right? Some of these entities are people who have passed away, all right? So they choose to come at that hour, right? Because of all the hocus pocus generated around it, but not necessarily. So anything that are advanced entities, timing is has nothing to do with it. But will emotions, memories, they always have nothing to do with the timing. But environment-wise, like feng shui energies, they don't really kind of depend on the hour, right? Only a little. For example, the earth chi, earth itself is a good source of energy, right? Which includes nature energies, and it can be stronger at certain times. Okay, like a dawn and dusk is actually very strong positive energies, for example. So other times you will find that maybe it's less negative, less positive, but there is daytime energies. The sun's energy is generally positive. All right, it's more yang, yin and yang, right? So if we're talking about time, those are that's the kind of time. So 5 a.m. to 7 a.m. is actually a good time with strong positive energies. It's not negative. And 5 p.m. to 7 p.m., or if you're talking about twilight hours, right? So they actually have environment energies are strong and positive at that time. So not negative. It's just that for some spirits, right, because the energies that are strong, that comes from earth and nature, it has no polarity. Polarity as in, it's not like light, as in dark versus light, like heaven versus hell kind of energy. So it's not aligned to heaven or light. So there are some entities that are powerful that that will take advantage of these energies at such time. Okay, but generally, as long as there's still the sun, it's still considered slightly positive, right? So that kind of hours is, I would say, is generally more positive than negative. Jenny is saying there's an incident where upon entering a place I feel eerie and my goosebump raised. Why is it? So you are sensing some negative energies, right? And usually it is probably some entities, right? Usually it is. So there's a kind of a your body is trying to tell you to alert you. So take advantage. Take note. So Evan is asking, beside light meditation as remedy, are there other forms of remedies to counter these negative energies? Is HE former the most effective? So Evan, I don't get what you mean by is HE former. Is he former the most effective? No, I'm not sure what you wrote there. Cracked crystal not recommended for healing. Cracked crystals depend. So some crystals are naturally cracked, so they are fine. Some crystals, even though after they're cracked, they can still be okay. But if the crack is very serious, right? So some crystals, when they take in too much negative energies, they will crack by themselves. That's an indication that they have taken overloaded already. So it depends whether the crack is a natural crack or something that happened after it has absorbed too much energies, or after you drop it, right, and it cracks, then the crystal's energy will also be affected. Okay. So Jenny is asking how to cleanse crystals. That is covered in the crystal talk. Please look in our YouTube channel. What type of essential oils? So there are many types of essential oils, right? So I'm not in the essential oil business, but the essential oils can be good. But not all, even essential oils actually can be cleansed. I've got quite a number of clients. They talk about their essential oil business and they show me, and I just do a very simple test. And some of you, see me do it, right? I can cleanse water and everything, even online like this, and I cleanse it for them. They are essential oils, and after that, the essential oils smell nicer, purer, right? And they are normally quite amazed. Yes. So even after their factory distillation and whatever the processes, the essential oils, the energy is still not quite pure. But we can use energy cleansing even to cleanse the energy of essential oils. So basically, energy cleansing can cleanse everything. Okay, so it's yeah. So John is asking, how do we know what level the crystals are? Even if we use crystals, it wouldn't be effective if the crystals are tainted. John, so some people, they actually can sense the crystals, but it's very simple. If you have a crystal and you bring it to a negative place, and the negative place energies overwhelm the crystals, means the crystal is not strong enough. All right, it's not strong enough, it's not pure enough. I normally recommend this, right? Actually, in Hinity, right, where we train people, we have a program where we train healers and light workers. We are light workers, right? Whereby we deal with dark forces and dark energies too, right? So we try to get people to familiarize themselves with positive energies, and that's why we teach light meditation, right, and unity qigong. So if you practice unity qigong and light meditation regularly, right, eventually you will be very familiar with positive energies, right, and light energies, and you will be able to identify crystals that have similar kind of energies. That is how one of the basic ways of identifying. And since you're learning in Hindi, so and you're practicing a lot of light meditation in YouTube, you should be able to sense given your own sensitivity. It wouldn't be effective if the crystals are tainted. Yeah, of course. If crystals are tainted, that means the crystals themselves have negative energies, right? Then the crystals can't cleanse the place too. All right. Oh, Evan is explaining, is the former most effective? Let me see. What type of essential oil? Is it harder to cleanse? Wait, let me see. Evan is asking, beside light meditation as remedy, are there other forms of remedies to counter these negative energies? Is the former the most effective? Yeah, so I'll be talking about, I will be sharing with you other methods which can do energy cleansing for basics. All right, basics that anyone who's attending this talk or who's watching this talk on YouTube, right, can practice and do for yourself. But the really advanced stuff, then you will need to learn in the Infinity program. So in Infinity program, the third module will cover space cleansing, how to do it effectively, really effectively. That's not to say that what I'm going to share with you all later doesn't work. It works, all right? It works. And if you're sensitive, you can feel that it works. But if you want to take it to a really, next level and even to help others, right? Like doing it professionally and charge others for it, right? That's why we train people to do it. And that will be under the Infinity program. So we have our own modality training people to do the kind of work that we do. Okay. So just to answer Edwin again, what kind of essential oils? There are plenty kinds of essential oils, right? So most of them do work, and like for example, frankincense and myrrh is used in incense, right? So it's also an essential oil. That is pretty good. Sage has very good. I don't think people are extracting sage as an essential oil, but I'm sure there are essential oils in it. So sage, but they use it to smudge, as in using it to smoke, right? And the Hindus, they also like to use smudging, but they don't call it smudging, they use smoke, right? They burn some smoke and then they go around the house, right? That's what the Hindus do in temples and everything. So that essentially, most of it is based on essential oils, which can have very pure energies, right? And positive energies. So is Edwin's question, is it harder to cleanse water-based negative energy compared to oil-based? No, not really. For us, when we're doing energy healing, it doesn't matter what kind of material, right? The thing is, energies can be stored everywhere, right? And for example, if it's water and oil, you can just wash it away, let it flow out and out your home or your place, right? But the water and the oil would have it. And if you're talking about soil, yeah, so soil of course is different. So it's on the soil, and then it's a matter. So it normally sticks there for quite a while. So yes, so with soil it can hang on for quite a while. Eileen is asking what your thoughts on certain cultural practices such as bathing with 7 color flowers with pomelo leaves and kaffir lime to remove bad luck. Oh, that's a very good question, right? Yes, so actually those work a lot on essential oils too, right? So people make flower essences and everything. So all this is made based on the fact there's some essential oil or there's some purity and positive energies in flowers, in pomelo leaves, and it can work. But again, the effectiveness is not say very high. So for low-level entities, yes, and to wash off bad luck. So bad luck can be a form of negative energies, whether it's a form of maybe some evil spirit follow you home, some ghosts, right? So it can work with low-level entities. That means that if the negative energies are not too strong. So the normal methods like there's flowers, right? So flowers and everything is roughly around here. So essential oils, flowers, pomelo leaves, right? And kaffir lime, right? Kaffir lime, you all know some lime leaves. It's called kaffir lime, very fragrant type of leaf, and some people just use it. So it's all about the fragrance, right? So the fragrance usually typically comes from essential oils or flower essence. So usually it's essential oils. Okay. So Evis, I think, is the sun the best cleanser if negative energies, especially at night? Also, sun can be. So you're dealing with entities. Now there are some evil spirits, low-level ghosts, typically that are afraid of the sun. So, and I don't know how many of you have noticed is in general a practice of some people buying over a new house. I mean, buying over an old house, right? Old house that have been, no occupants for a long time. What they do is, first of all, they take apart the roof. They take apart the roof and they let the sun shine because they intend to use. They still want the walls and the foundation and everything, right? So they take apart the roof and let the sun shine for I don't know, weeks, months, and then after that, then only they put back the roof and then they do the renovations. So that is one way of doing it. But again, oops, it only works for low-level evil spirits. Okay, low-level evil spirits and entities, and it's not going to work against stuff like black magic and spells. And can it cleanse some? Yes, it can, but I would say normally not very deep. And you can, if you know people who have problems after they do that, then you know the negative energies are stronger than can be remedied by using the sun. All right. So John said, can people play some music or chanting to cleanse the room? Okay, that's a very good question. And in fact, that will be one of the it kind of linked to one of the methods that I would recommend that is better than this type of normal method. So I don't know what other normal methods you have. You can raise it up. I will address them, and then I will have recommended methods. All right. So our CordyKet recommended methods of cleansing, of space cleansing. Okay. So Evan said, I mean pride, greed, anger, lust, delusion, jealousy, negativity, selfishness, hatred, ego, which attach to negative, and this can be countered by positive light energy. Yes, yes, that is true. All right, that is true. John is asking, some people say washing the space with tea and allow sunlight to shine in. How effective is this? Now, tea in itself is not actually effective at all. Tea does not actually have unless you're referring to some kind of special tea that I am not aware of, right? So tea does not really work, right? And let's say if you're talking about ghosts, right? What if it's a tea drinking ghost? A lot of people like to drink tea and then they become ghosts. Then you wash it with tea, all the more they like it, right? It smells very nice to them or whatever, right? So tea does not really. Evan is okay, to address John's question fully and allow the sunlight to shine in. So sunlight, I've already addressed that. So sunlight can work, but again, if it depends on the negative energies. How strong are the negative energies? Okay. So Evan is asking, I noticed memorial parks always play Taoism Buddhist hymn songs. So is it good? Yes, it is good, and but I want to qualify what makes them good. All right, what makes them good? Okay, so Jenny is asking what mantra is good for house cleansing. Okay, so this will come under our recommended methods. Okay, so our recommended methods for space cleansing is what kind of energies are typically of the very high pure vibrations. All right, we're talking about high pure vibrations that is able to deal with most of this type of negative energies. Okay, so the first one, right, is based on prayers. Right, so prayers, of course, you have many kinds, or some will link it to, right, is quite equivalent, right? It's quite equivalent. Number two, right, mantra chanting, for example. Now, I first mentioned prayers because I have a certain type of prayers in mind. Okay, and it is group prayers. All right, group prayers, especially when we have in the context of certain religions. Okay, I'll be straightforward, right? For example, in Christianity, prayers are usually done in a congregation and in a cell group. Cell group means it's a small group of people who are always praying together, right? Now, because there's more than one person's energy, and if everyone is, if people, the group, right, the group tends to be more positive, then the energies will be strong and positive. So when it comes to prayers, it depends a lot on the energies of the people who are praying. Right now, the problem with a lot of people who have negative energy experiences, who are staying in negative places, for example, you yourself will not be the best person to do a prayer because you have been overwhelmed by the negative energies. All right, so your own positive energies is not strong enough. You probably will need to invite a group of people to come over and pray, do prayers for your house, for your place, for your office. And these people will need to be positive people, religious and spiritual people. And now I'm not just talking about religious, they need to be good people. Now, if you are getting a group of people whereby if you know your group of religious people are people who will talk bad things about other people, who will be very judgmental, who are easily angered, right? Then that is not the right kind of group. You need to be people who are really loving, really kind-hearted, and who will love with without like, oh, I won't love you if you are black, I won't love you if you're not Christian, or due to religious reason. If those people are, if they're very bigoted, if they are racially or religiously prejudiced, usually their level of positive energies is not quite high enough. It kind of depends. Okay, so you need the quantity and quality. So sometimes if the quality of the people's energy is not high enough, maybe getting more people works, right? So for example, that's why it really depends. Like, you can go to church, so the church is full of sinners, right? If you're in Christianity, we all believe that they're all sinners. But if you're really into prayer and your faith is right there at the moment, even if you're a sinner, even if you're not a good person, if your faith is there, and if you surrender yourself to the light, to God, to Jesus, to whichever religion, all right, that is of positivity, then it will work. All right, so this is actually very powerful group prayers. All right, and this is something that most people who are involved in organized religions can do. All right, whether it's Buddhism or Christianity, or Buddhism, you can get a group of people to come and do chanting together, for example. Then we talk about mantras. All right, the other method I highly recommend is mantras. So mantras means they are power words that have energies. They have usually very positive, pure energies, because most of the mantras, especially prayer mantras, religious mantras, spiritual mantras, they are linked to heaven. All right, and so heaven can bring light, the purest of energies. And with this, if you're using mantras, right, you need to vocalize it, or you need it to be loud, or you need not shout, but you need to vocalize it, so that, because a mantra, right, that if you recite it in your heart, again, it depends. If you're at a place whereby the negative energies are strong, so you'll be surrounded by negative energies, and you're reciting in your heart, it's not going to work, because the reciting internally, the energies cannot come out. So you need to bring forth the energies to come out, and that's when you try to vocalize it. And if you're really against strong energies, then you need to be loud. And so again, there is always these two things, right? You need to consider quantity. I hope you guys can see the green light, and quality. Okay, so quantity as in, so when it comes to prayers, group prayers, quantity as in number of people can make a difference. Quality as in the quality of the people, whether they are really good people, very kind people, and so on. Now, when it comes to mantras, quantity will be how much mantras you know. So normally, if you're into chanting mantras, we talk about one mala, one round is 108 times. right? So how many malas you want to do, right? That is quantity. So you can do more to make up for it. And then you have quality. So alright, so quantity also can mean getting more people to do the mantras together. More people to do the mantras together. And quality, um, quality would mean, are you focused when you are chanting the mantras, for example? All right, chanting the mantras, for example. So some people, they are chanting, but they are thinking of something else, right? So the quality is not there. So you want to be focused, right? And even the Lord's Prayer is kind of like a mantra, right? In case you don't know, so for for Christianity, the Lord's Prayer is like quite long, right? So it also can be a mantra. And let me give you an example. So I had a client, right? I had a client. She's a very nice lady, and so every now and then she attends our sessions and everything. And one day she messaged me. She gave me a WhatsApp message, and she told me what was she facing. So basically, she had been counseling someone who was a victim of black magic and have evil spirits disturbing, right? And she was counseling the person, and she could feel negative energies from the person came to her, through the messaging and phone call, and then sort of occupied her house. The energies came over into her house and was starting to affect her and other people in her house, right? So she's staying with some people in the house, and and she could feel it clearly. So she asked me for help, to ask me to check and advise what could be done, and she's willing to pay me the money, right, to do the energy cleansing. So I prepared myself. So those of you who know us, when we do work in divinity, we don't just do work like that, right? We prepare ourselves, we make sure our positive energies is strong, right? Then we go and do the energy reading, and she showed me photos and everything. So just through photos, I didn't even go to her place. I checked her place, and I told her, yes. So there are entities that came over, and the entities originated from black magic, right? But they came over from the person, and they are now disturbing you all. And so basically, she asked me, she was like, "Oh, Kat, please help us remove them and everything." I told her, actually, these entities, I told her, are not very high level, right? And this is within your level. And so I shared with her what she can do to to do the energy cleansing for her home. So all she need to do is get everybody in the family, right? Get everyone in the family and chant a mantra of the divine that is in the house. So she have an altar there. So the altar, she took a picture, and the altar was actually we did the blessings for the altar, right? And the altar was still strong, right? The altar was still strong, and we said, yeah, it's still strong. So what you need to do is gather the family, right? Hope you can explain to them. Gather the family, sit down at the altar, and then everyone chant. Now, how to do this mantra chanting? So there are many mantras. So most of the mantras, most religions, they are all okay, right? Most of the mantras are all okay. They are maybe rare, some mantras are wrong and doesn't have the power, right? So, but most mantras are okay. So I told her for the mantra, I gave her the mantra to chant, and she has done some chanting with us before. So she just to gather the family, sit down and chant. So how to do this? Okay, how to do this? If you're doing mantra chanting, right? Normally, I will recommend that you do 3 malas. For yourself. All right, you start off with at least 3 malas. 3 malas means 3 rounds. 1 mala is 108 times. This is my minimum. Of course, the more you chant, the better. All right, so this is my minimum. You need to chant 3 malas for yourself. That means this is for cleansing yourself. Right, before you do anything, 3 malas is to cleanse yourself. Then only you talk about chanting more malas, right, for cleansing your home and your space, and the more people, the better. So this is a minimum. You need to do at least 3 malas for yourself. Then only you consider anything on top of 3 malas will help you cleanse the place that you're doing. All right, and that was what I recommended. So initially, she was like, no lah, Kat, I'm willing to pay you money. And I said, no lah, if you pay me money, it's going to cost you a bomb. Right, it's going to cost you a bomb because that was during the, I think it was during lockdown. I'm not sure whether I could have gone to the place. I can't remember. It just happened last year, if I remember correctly. So I said, no lah, it costs you a lot. And then I will need to do cleansing and healing for the people who are involved because the evil spirits were also disturbing from what I checked, right? The evil spirits were also disturbing other members of the family. So if I were to cleanse and heal everyone, it's going to cost money. And, so I told her, no need, yeah, that's the way I work, I'm not all about money. So I told her, you guys can do this yourself and you all should do it yourself, right? You all can try and do it yourself and feel it so that you will have the faith in your religion and the faith in the mantras, right? So and she actually managed to speak to her family about it. They trusted her, and everybody everybody devoted themselves and did as I requested, and it worked. All right, all the negative sensations and experiences all went away, and I confirmed, right? I did another energy reading to confirm with her that it worked. And true enough, she never looked for me again. Right after that, she was very happy, very thankful, and all she needed to pay was my consultation for energy reading. All right, and that was just very cheap. I think just 50 ringgit or 100 ringgit. I can't remember. I charged her once or twice because I did energy reading twice. I think, yeah. So maybe 100 ringgit, or if it's just one time, it's just 50 ringgit, right? So okay, so if I were to have done the energy cleansing, I would charge her in the thousands. I think I quoted her. I remember close to 2,000 because her family was quite big, right? There were quite a number of people in staying in the house. So I would recommend, right, as CordyKet, we will recommend if you can, right? This is something a lot of people can do, mantras, and all of you, those of you who have religions, right? This is something you can do. Now, if you don't have religion, right, I would highly recommend this. Aha. For those of you who know us, right, and you're familiar with our work, right, and what we teach, you will know this. Light meditation can actually do cleansing for places, can cleanse the space which you are in. All right. So, and we teach light meditation for free, right? Once a month there is a class, and in case you don't know, I think the class will be on next Sunday, 9 p.m. All right, Malaysian time. So, light meditation is where now you will need, okay, you will need to be a regular practitioner of light meditation so that your own light is strong, so you can emit strong, positive, pure energies, and you can do the light meditation. So let me tell you another real story. Okay, so I had this client, and this happened last year. So this client is one of those people who are very sensitive to energies and can feel evil spirits and all those, right? And she was being disturbed by evil spirits, and it got really bad, right? It got really bad, and the entities even opened up a portal to hell in one of the rooms in her place, right? So she engaged me to do the work, and because she's sensitive, I told her, yes, okay, all you need to do is, right, I will prepare myself, we'll arrange a time, and then I told her, okay, I'm coming over in energy, right? This was done long distance. This was during the lockdown period last year, if I'm not wrong. So energetically, I go to a place and I told her, look, she could sense the energies in her place. She could sense the negative energies, and she could sense the portal itself. She could sense the portal. She even took a picture of where she could feel it very clearly. And then look, you just feel it, and then now I'm going to cleanse. And I said, it's done. And that was like, very fast. It was done, maybe a minute or two. And then she felt like, wow, yes, the energy in her interplace changed. And then I removed the portal, and then the portal was gone and everything, right? Now, the only thing is this lady is actually meant to be a light worker like Cordelia and myself, right? That means she's meant to do this kind of work too, right? So I was actually instructed not to do thorough cleansing. I was instructed to do just enough. So this lady came back to me and she said, Kat, I can feel there are leftover vibrations of the portal in the room where the portal was at. I say, yes, that will be your homework. And she said, homework? Yes. What you're supposed to do, because your guides and your primary soul, you're meant to be a light worker, wants to train you to do space cleansing by yourself, to cleanse the place by yourself. And your homework is to do light meditation in that room, right, for enough. So again, it's based on quantity and quality, right? So you can do long time for meditation, but if your quality is not there, you're not focused. So the idea is you need to stay, practice your light meditation there, and you keep on shining your light, and then the negative energies will go away. And true enough, so she did, and I can't remember whether it was the same night that I asked her to do it or another night. So for example, she could sense. So we talk about the materials, right? The material. So the room has like a wardrobe, right? And she could feel that energies are absorbed into the wardrobe. So all this I didn't do the thorough cleansing. So I told her, yes. So there is the wall, the one that's in the wall, and the one that's in the wardrobe, for example. And you do. And after she did her light meditation in the room, she says, wow, now the negative energies that's in the wardrobe is very little left, but the ones in the wall stay is still there. That's when I told her, shared with you all the same thing, right? Because of the different material, stone material will retain energy better. Wood and metal, for example, they don't retain energy so well, and they can be more easily cleansed. And that is her homework, and she was supposed to do, and she got it done eventually. All right. So these are the methods that you can do yourself. One of your questions is, can we play songs, right, that have all this? So the songs, yes, can. Now it depends, because not all songs have positive energies. And now even singing the mantra, it depends on quantity and quality. If the person's own energies, the people who are singing, right? I don't know, like if you guys are into Buddhism, there's this Namo Amitofo that is player that is people like to put on altars, and it keeps on repeating and repeating. But it is a very commercial product, and they just get some Tom, Dick, and Harry to chant the mantra, and the person does not have the faith, so the quality is not there, right? And so the energies that are given off the recorder is not very good. So we have to bear in mind all this. So whichever recording that you use. Now there are some people who like to go to our YouTube channel. In our YouTube channel, we have this under this playlist. So there's this playlist called Spiritual Questions Answered, whereby all our spiritual questions answered, or most of our spiritual questions answered videos are posted there. And we have a playlist called Cleansing, and those are the videos with cleansing energies. Typically, is Cordelia doing her sound healing and cleansing. Right now, you can also use that. So that is one of the ways that we provide free cleansing for you guys. So if you all want to use and play, those can be very good. And for example, the lady who can feel entities and his homework was to do light meditation, she also used that, right? So if you guys want to use some recordings, you can try ours. Just go to our YouTube channel, right? Look for the playlist called Cleansing, right? And there are a lot of videos there. If you're sensitive, you will be able to feel it. All right. So Jenny is asking which mantra. Most of the mantras are okay, right? If you're a specific mantra, you can ask me. Otherwise, most of the religious mantras are okay. Evan is asking, is positive spell or special symbol on the paper more effective than normal prayer to cleanse a place? So some symbols now, even symbol, it depends who draw it, and a lot of people think that the symbols have special power. I have encountered many cases whereby people bring back such symbols on paper that are drawn, and they actually carry negative energies instead of positive, despite what the person who sell it says, right? Everything is not clear. So if you ask me, you want to be sure. If you want to be sure, this is pretty sure, right? So you rely on those things is hardly a guarantee. But you're making prayers, group prayer, you're doing mantras, they are mantras of the divine, right? Then it's for sure positive energies. You're doing light meditation, it is also positive energies. I would say you could choose something that's reliable. All these spells or special symbol on paper talisman, all this not necessary. I've got a lot of clients, they have all this and the energies will dissipate. For example, paper doesn't hold energy very, very well for a long time. So as I say, esoteric materials. Is there a case where negative energy place could not be cleansed at all? That's a very good question. So far, I've not encountered that. Many years ago, when our level were lower, we have encountered whereby the entities are more powerful than us, and there's nothing much that we can do. I remember one case whereby there was one entity and occupied the whole house, and it's a bungalow, and the owner was looking to sell because they were really going through a very tough time, staying in the house, and I was like, wow, this entity everything is totally beyond my level. And I just told her, I'm sorry, there's nothing I can do, and if I can't do it, I don't know any, if CordyKet and I can't do it, I have no idea. We don't know who else can do it. So that was just one case, but a few years after that, we reached a level whereby I could deal with those entities, and as far as I know now, most of the things can be solved. I would say 99%, all right, can be dealt with. For us, we can do energy cleansing. Elvis asking, can we play MP3 mantra cassette player loudly? So again, I answered the question already. It depends, right? If you ask me, chanting yourself is better, all right, because it's live. It's not a recording. Now, and we have also encountered whereby some YouTubes and some recordings, the entities can be powerful enough, right, to even corrupt such cassette tapes or CDs or media or even the internet. All right, so it's a complicated world. So if you ask me, do yourself is actually very reliable, or you get a group of people who have good energy, right? Your friends, right? Come and do it, or you get a group of people who do light meditation together. All right. So Evan is asking, after cleansing a place, can we still retain the photo of suspected entity on the wall? Well, if there's an entity, yeah, I mean, if the photo is thoroughly cleansed, it should be okay, right? But if it's not thoroughly cleansed, then there'll be some energies, and you might be concerned that those energies can attract back similar. So we have so in our line of work, we've encountered different things. We have encountered pendants of dark entities, right? Pendants of demonic entities, whereby the pendants even have black magic. It's one of our early discoveries. We removed the entity from the pendant, right? From the pendant, and inside there's a black magic spell or something. You activate and you call back another demonic entity inside, and then the black magic spell activates and strike at us who are doing the cleansing. So it was like, wow, it's very advanced stuff, and it's lucky that we are very cautious, we are prepared. But if it's any normal person or any normal priest or monk who's just thinking of using mantra to cleanse it, and if they're not prepared, they're going to be affected. All right, so there are this type of things that are going out there. All right, so any other questions? All right, if there are no other questions, I thank you everyone for joining me. There's one question. John says, I tried chanting Indian mantra but feel heaviness as compared to chanting Buddhism mantra and Tara mantra. So it depends on which mantra. Now, the thing with Hinduism mantras is there are lots of mantras out there, and not all of them, some of them are already corrupted and not the correct one. It's not because you're not aligned to it. John is asking, is it because you're not aligned to it? No. If so, John is sensitive. You're sensitive enough such that you can tell whether it's pure or not pure. So, with mantras, most of them I say is generally okay, right? They're generally fine. But the thing is, there are not all the deities out there. Okay, not all the deities out there are of pure light. So there are some deities which are, kind of gray, so they're not actually of light. And if you are using their mantras, or some, in our case, I found, even famous mantras whereby I think some religious person, they change the mantra, they swap the words or something, and then the mantra just, it's no longer pure. It's no longer able to summon pure energies, pure divine or light energy. So that we have discovered also. So my advice is, for example, if you are interested in trying Hindu mantras, I can share with you some Hindu mantras, right? That for sure, and they are of the Hindu divine, right? The thing is this: when it comes to Hindu deities and gods, like you can have one god or deity, but if you go in Google, there'll be many mantras. Excuse me. Excuse me, I'm trying to sneeze. So the thing is, not all the mantras have the same level of effectiveness. All right, not all. So so Cordelia and I, we normally will use energy reading. Actually, we normally will use energy reading to determine whether the mantra is actually of light. But in general, they are okay, right? In general, they are okay. So for you all, if you have your religion, and if you think that one mantra doesn't work, then you change another mantra, right? You've been trying it, you get a group of people, it doesn't work, then you change another mantra, right? No harm doing that. All right, so John says he will stick to his Namo Amitofo. Yes, so Namo Amitofo is Buddhism mantra, and it's very effective. All right, for those of you like Jenny, you are Buddhist, right? And you're asking which mantra. So if you're Buddhist, you can use Namo Amitofo. Okay. So Xiaofang also says yes, she also uses Namo Amitofo. It's simple. All right. So, so thank you everyone for joining me. If there are no questions, tomorrow we have wellness sound session, sound healing by Cordelia at 10 a.m. Malaysia time. All right, the energies are going to be strong. Excuse me. The energies are going to be strong due to planetary alignments. There's a double conjunction tomorrow, right? And in fact, tonight I think some people are going to feel, have trouble sleeping and so on. So, but tomorrow, try and attend our wellness sound session. And thank you for joining me tonight. If you feel you've gained some value, please consider making a donation to support our online activities. Right? Online activities are funded by donations. If you can't afford it, that is also fine. And I hope to see you all again. All right? Thank you. Have a good day. Good night.